Carry going on. As an overall trend, I think Japanese people feel low about themselves. I mean, they have low self esteem. So they have a certain uneasiness in their mind when they do something. So, in order to make sure what they do is the right thing, they care too much about evaluation from others around them. So, because they feel uneasy about what they're doing, they always want to have someone indicate their mistakes and advice feedbacks. So they strongly have masochistic introspective viewpoint. So what I mean by this is like they have strong tendency to accept someone's feedbacks that is recognized as sound argument unconditionally, rather they superficially welcome to accept it. No matter how unreasonable it is, that people generally want to resist it. And they have a trait to care too much about how others look at them, as I told you at the beginning, so that they dedicate themselves to trying to accept it by forcing back their emotions that actually want to resist it, because everyone supports the same feedback. So in the meantime, this atmosphere comes to be strong peer pressure that force people to regard one feedback as only the right answer based on the common sense of values shared by the vast majority of people. And people try to attack someone who have the critical opinions about it. And the majority of those who support a certain feedback tries to instill the impression like those who have a certain critical thoughts about it are treated as a pity brained person by insulting them. Moreover, Japanese people have the way of thinking of Confucianism that gives them thought of respecting age before youth, which has great effect on a Japanese society. So Japanese people strongly have a tendency to unconditionally accept feedbacks from seniors, even if they are not actually convinced with it. In short, they always want to have someone advise feedbacks because they have few confidence on what they're doing. But the rightfulness of feedbacks is decided by the number of people who have sympathy for it, so that they always ask others if given feedbacks has a certain justice in it. And once peer pressure forms in the process that a lot of people support the same feedback, there will be the atmosphere the objection is not allowed, and anybody is forced to obey the majority thoughts, no matter what kind of criticism, no matter what kind of critical opinions they have against it. So this is a typical Japanese people's sentiment. So Japanese society forces people to take positive stance towards masochistic introspective viewpoint in the form of being lectured by someone and being scolded by someone if what they are lectured about is the sound argument that vast majority of people think is right thing. So you just give it a try to Google it. Google critical opinions about lecturing on the internet with the keyword of shikaru, which means lecturing in Japanese. So no website that criticizes the trend that Japanese people regard lecturing as virtue will be hit on the first page of the search results on Google. No matter how many critical keywords you line up by putting these before and after the keywords of lecturing shikaru when you Google it. So information detected by the keywords of lecturing shikaru in Japanese is fully occupied by the information with prerequisite that lecturing is justice. So this situation will make people with critical opinions against it start doubting if their thoughts is incorrect. So recently, in Q&A sites, I found a question about the worries, concerns on a number of harsh words from seniors and the boss in an office when getting feedbacks during work. So apparently a questioner wanted to share this trouble with other users and have someone answer to change this situation. So nevertheless, the content of the answer to this posted question was like, you bear with it, and you have to accept it even if there's a certain evil in what a senior lectured you about. Because being lectured by someone means that you made a mistake and you made a problem to be lectured. So you have to focus on what you were lectured about by seniors and the boss. That this is all your fault. So you absolutely have no right to complain about this. And this type of similar answers accounted for the vast majority of entire posted answers to this posted question in a Japanese Q&A site. And Japanese people pointlessly inspire others to have the feeling of remorse without understanding others' circumstance, and force others to take the stance that being lectured by someone and being scolded by someone must be unconditionally welcomed, even if there's a certain evil in it. So I'm just going to introduce you a YouTube video that expresses Japanese typical sentiment very well. I just put the link of the video below, so please check it out if you're interested in that. So this video is the one that is extracted with the scene of eavesdropping recording that Tom Cruise is going mad about staff's low consciousness towards coronavirus infection control. Interestingly, in the comment section of this video, the comment perspective is clearly split between English comments and Japanese comments, and the vast majority of Japanese comments highly admired his behavior, like his behavior is justice. And there is no one on the earth who gets seriously angry about this, to indicate the dangerousness and disadvantages by infection of coronavirus. So Japanese people have quite positive opinions about his behavior. In contrast, in English comments, there are so many critical comments about this, Tom Cruise bad temper that he can't control for himself when he is telling staff right things. So it's like no matter how reasonable sound argument it is, the stance of telling something seriously to someone will not be get out the jail free card for letting himself get carried away and go mad without control quite emotionally. So overall trend, Japanese people think that being scolded by someone and being lectured by someone is very, very thankful. That proves that seniors and the boss still take care of them. So, and Japanese people force it as others to accept this way of thinking. So there are, pros and cons about this stance, but I think this is one of the primary causes that will make an atmosphere that allows us boss and seniors to take, abusive behaviors to subordinates in a Japanese company frequently. But strangely, no Japanese have a question about this kind of things. You know, I really think Japanese people, or I really think Japanese people's unconditional acceptance to social common sense is overwhelmingly abnormal, I think.